Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. How's everybody's day going? Hi, hello, Qwerty. Hello, Shadow. Welcome, Ace. Welcome, Cryophobia. Shadow Astro. Alright. Hope you all are having a good Valentine's Day today. I am going to be doing a little bit of 3D model practice. Wow, we got a lot of people in here today. Hello, Joseph. Hello, Mr. Episodes. Hello, Kevin. Welcome. So today, I don't normally get a lot of practice with human models. Normally I'm making either eldritch horrors or, you know, animatronics or stuff like that. So today I thought we could try and make a little bit of a human character design. Probably just a head bust for today, but, you know, let's go over to the actual scene there. There we are. Hey there, Megla. Welcome, Mystic Morgan. Can you teach us? I mean, I'll be going through the process, so if you want to watch along, hopefully you can learn a thing or two. I'm also learning, so this is practice for me. I love this series. Glad to hear it. Appreciate the support. Gonna make a Roblox game with your animatronics. I'll give credit. Yeah, pretty much anything Mackenzie related. If you want to make fan art or a fan game or whatever, you can go for it. Just give credit and make sure that somewhere on like a description or something it says that it's not official. You know, as long as you do that, I'm fine with whatever. Okay, let's get some reference images in here. Zoom in really quickly. There we go. Winter Watch stream. Thank you for the $2, Cryophobia. Winter Watch stream indeed. This is basically if things didn't go terribly at the lodge, I'd imagine he'd probably be messing around on a computer somewhere. So this is about as lore accurate as it could be in an alternate universe kind of way. All right, so I got to decide. I got a reference image here and another one here. I don't know which one I'm gonna go with though. I like how many angles this one has. But this one has good topology on it. It's gonna be a rough choice. Yeah, stick with 2D drawing because that's what I'm familiar with. I can't wait to learn how to 3D model more. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to branch out and do some practice with 2D stuff lately. I think I'll have this one to the side just for like later. But I'm definitely more experienced with 3D, so maybe someday I'll be pretty half decent at 2D if I put in enough practice. I mean, it's the only reason that I'm where I'm at with 3D, so might as well. Let's make this perspective. There we go. And then now, yeah, there we go. That's what we want. Let's get rid of this plane. We don't need it. Duplicate, rotate Z 90, then bring this backward. I'll set this up with the side profile. There we go. GX, and we're pretty much good to start. Might make a flip note about Mackenzie's? Hell yeah. Are you making a new episode of Mackenzie's Learning Lodge? I am working on one. Hold on, this is a little too hype for what we're doing. There we go. Although actually I got copyright strikes for Silent Hill, so we'll not do that one either. Turn it down just a little bit, and there we go. Alright. So yes, I am making new Mackenzie's Learning Lodge episodes. Development on them has been a little slower than usual just because my schedule and life has changed since I started working on it. So it definitely is a little bit slower than I would like, but I am making decent progress on it on the next episode now, so that's good. Glad that I can at least get some progress in on it. Okay, let's get this at least somewhat generally blocked out really quickly. Subdivision, like 2 or 3 for now. There we go. I should actually start working on Mark Mime, Marcus Cullen, the Clown's partner. Why not? Might as well. I would love to 3D model one day so I can make my reimagined designs for Willy's Wonderland. Love to make a series about it. I mean, hey, you know, just gotta pick a day to start, really. It's, one thing that I've really liked about 3D modeling is that even though it's kind of like structured, in the sense that you kind of need to like know what, like, you need to know what certain modifiers do, like how subdivision works and all that sort of stuff, because it's, you know, it's a program. You can also kind of do things a lot of different ways. Like, there's not really just one way to do things, right? Like, I like sculpting things first. But there are people who will take reference images like this, and they won't even do what I do here every time. They'll just take a polygon and then be like, okay, let's model out the nose and then make a loop. And then they just make a bunch of different loops, and that works for them. I don't know how they do it, because that's seems like way too much work in my opinion, but it allows them more control, so, you know, more power to them. But it can be fun to pick up. Give it a go. Made some more art? Hell yeah, we'll check it out after stream. Okay, so now let's get a jaw going. What? Oh, yeah, that'll do it. We want to select the whole thing before we do. Okay, there we go. Okay. GX. Let's make this sharper. Bring that out to about there, and then bring this down here. Nope, not that. There we go. Bring that there. That should work for now. As I look from the side view. Terrible, but we'll fix it. First time I saw this, I was hooked because I saw a YouTuber do it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun, not gonna lie. Hey there, fellow 3D modeler, looking good. Thanks, appreciate it. I might make the flip note where my character finds Mackenzie's and Mackenzie looks down, and then when you're close to me, music in the background, and then at the end my character's on the... Yeah, I mean, it's good to storyboard stuff out. I need to storyboard things a lot more than I do. I hate to admit it because it is a little bit of a bad habit, but a lot of the stuff that I do for Mackenzie's is kind of like, I'll just last minute be like, oh, this would be a cool idea, and that would be a cool idea, you know? So I could definitely stand to structure stuff out a little more beforehand. I have like a general story already plotted out, and I know what I want to do with each video, so at least there's that. So it's not 100% improv or anything, but it is a little less planned out than it probably should be. So I could get better at that. Alright, now we need the tube for the neck. That's actually, yeah, wait, what am I doing there? Let's do this. There we go. Same for the bottom. Cool. Let's set this. I think it's honestly pretty much just as wide as it needs to be. And maybe pinch it in the middle. There we go. That's good. Bring this one up just a little bit. Alright, now that's definitely too wide. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you too. I'm not sure I asked you this in the past stream or something, but how long did it take you to learn 3D modeling? Well, I mean, I guess that kind of depends on at what point you or I would consider it having been learned. I think I'm still learning to this day. You never really stop learning it, but to become decently competent at it, I think I went from working with just making basic donut models to practice, and then a couple of physics simulations, all the way up to like my first Mackenzie model in like maybe a half year to 1 full year, about that time frame. So it took a little while of like dedication to it, but it's definitely worth it. And like I said, I still think that I'm learning to this day, so I don't think you ever really stop learning 3D modeling. All right, we need to bring this in, because that doesn't look like how an X should look. Bring that in, and then maybe widen the head a little bit. Actually, no, what we want to do is sharpen the sides just a little bit, and then bring this in. Alright, how does that look? I want to bring this back just a little bit. Then we gotta add a little bit of a nose cube. Definitely never stop learning. I've been modeling and stuff for a few years now. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, especially Blender, there's a million different things that you can do, and for everything that you can do in this program, there's a million different ways to do that thing. So it's one of those things where, you know, you're pretty much always going to be learning something new as long as you're making new stuff, you know? Alright, let's sharpen this up so it's a little easier to get figured out. Like, for example, I'm learning how to make a human-shaped character right now, because I kind of avoided it because they're very complicated, but, you know. Now that I got some time to practice, I'm giving a little go. Then lips we can sculpt out. Everything else I think we can sculpt out. So this is a good block out. I mean, it's not the best, but good enough for what we're doing. Really sorry you lost those first models, though. I think you improved a little bit on the second versions. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's kind of a blessing in disguise, in my opinion, where obviously it sucks that I lost all the work, but I'm definitely someone who, like, you know, things are just things. I don't need to have stuff forever. So it definitely sucked to lose all that progress, but the main reason why it sucked for me was because I thought to myself, like, damn, I made this whole series and was about to start it, and then now all that progress is gone, and a bunch of people were, like, expecting something to come out. So I was mostly just worried what everyone else would think about the fact that I lost all the progress. But people were super supportive, so, you know, at that point I was like, oh, okay, well, then I'm not really worried as long as people are understanding and, you know, kind, which you all were, which I'm very, very grateful for. But yeah, so then from that point on, I pretty much just took it as like, well, I get a second chance to tweak the models a little bit, to learn more, to apply what I learned in between making all those models. So, you know, it definitely benefited the series, in my opinion, even if it did make it take a little longer to make. Alright, let's get into sculpting. I'm at an art school now to get a more structured learning program, hoping to become an environmental artist someday. That's fucking sick. Hell yeah, John. I've never seen this stuff streamed before, so this is cool. Hell yeah. Glad to hear it. Okay. Let's give him a brow. Okay. General. There we go. Yeah, one thing that I always hear that Maya's a lot better I mean, maybe not a lot better, but it's preferred by a lot of people. But every time that I've gotten like a little test subscription to it, I couldn't really get into it. I know part of that's just because I've been like in Blender for so long now that I'm just like used to it, but still something about Maya to me is like it's not my style. How do we... Okay, first let's make the eye divot. So we'll get a little eye line going there. And then from there, is that about where we want it? Could be a little lower. There we go. And then we'll do brows from there. Gotta make that way smaller. Let's remesh a little more detailed. Something like 123. Yeah, there we go. Now we're working with proper details. If I were to make an analog horror series like yours, it would obviously be 2D, but it would change into different areas of the room as the person goes somewhere, like a point-and-click free roam game. That sounds sick, actually. Yeah, that could be pretty good. Let's give just a little bit of that. We can tweak it later. Oh, no, I don't like that, actually. Come on. Something like that. There we go. That looks a little more like a nose. I use Maya, but I used to use Blender a lot in the past, but now I'm used to Maya and can't go back. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where I know if I were to learn Maya at some point, I'd be like, God, how did I ever use Blender? But I don't know. I like Blender. Blender's nice. Okay. And I did, because I used to, okay, we definitely need to get lips here. Hold on. I used to do Source Filmmaker stuff. And that was a similar situation where it was like, I didn't want to swap over just because I was so used to it. But eventually I got to a point, specifically with Source Filmmaker, where I was like, okay, Source just can't do enough stuff creatively for me to justify sticking with it. So I moved on and I learned Blender. But the reason why I moved from Source Filmmaker hasn't quite happened in my mind yet with Blender, where with Source Filmmaker I was like, this isn't really keeping up with what I want to do. But Blender, so far at least, except for maybe physics, it kind of sucks with physics. But for the most part, Blender's been able to keep up, so I've just stuck with it. Because, you know, why not? Ah, yes, the perfect human mouth. No, let's do that a little bit better. Something like that. Let's get a little more detail. Oh, my dog just coughed. That was disgusting, Coda. Good for you. Okay, how do we do a lip line? You're gonna see where my weaknesses come into play. I'm being vulnerable, guys. Please don't bully me. We can give him like a little... No, we don't want that. We don't want that. Let's do... See, I'm trying to like... I keep trying to make it a smile, and I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe they're like a little too blocked. So let's morph these a bit. Not that one. This one? There we go. That does what I want a little bit more. Right now I have an app called Prisma 3D. It's basically Blender, but for phones. I have a computer, but every time I use Blender on it, it crashes because it's a piece of crap Asus laptop. Oh yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I get you. I remember working on a crap top. It's honestly why I started out with Source Filmmaker, because it didn't matter if you had a good or bad PC, it was equally bad on both of them. So, you know, that's great. I've never been able to do organic stuff very well. Never mind a human face. Bro's pouting. Yeah, let's make him a little bit slay, a little bit yossified, or we can make him a fish person. He's angry. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna work with our limitations. I can't do mouths very well, so we're gonna give him mutton chops after this. So we'll just make a serviceable mouth for now. Let's not plateau. What would be a good thing? Because we want to get... kind of want to flatten it out and pinch it a bit, because that's kind of how lips go. Not pinch. Scrape? Is that what I want to do? Might be. Can't hurt to give it a go. Yeah, that kind of... subtle, but it definitely brings out the shape a little more. There we go. That's more like lips. Do you have any place that I can send you the flip note? I do. I don't have enough time to finish the flip note, so I might have to finish it tomorrow. I mean, generally, if you tag me either on Twitter or here on YouTube, I usually get a notification for it, so I'll end up seeing it on one of those. Okay, let's do a little more sharp draw here. And then maybe we do a slight crease down the middle. No, a slight sharp draw down the middle. Am I doing it? Yeah, there we go. Makes it look a little more like lips. We need to bring the corners back, though. That's what I'm noticing. There we go. Okay, that looks a little more lippy. Let's go under and see what we can do here. Maybe, oh, maybe not that. Bring the cheeks back a little bit. Elongate the face. All right. That's good. It's good. Learn how to use that Prisma 3D app. Hopefully my attention won't get in the way as I watch tutorials. Yeah, I mean, you know, what I normally do, just to make sure that I am actually properly learning stuff, is I'll watch a tutorial and then try and do something related to the tutorial afterward instead of following it along, just to see how much of it I actually internalize, you know? And if I absolutely need to, I'll go back to the tutorial and figure out what it is that I need to do. But for the most part, I like to see if I retained it first and then go from there. Let's get that bump out of the way. Let's make this a little bit... let's bring it in a little bit. Yeah, there we go. It's looking a little better. Grab... let's pitch that in. And probably stronger brows, just by a little bit. Yeah, not by too much. We need to bring that strength down. There we go. Then we can draw lines and stuff. That needs to be stronger. Something like that. Coda, you gotta get your stuff figured out. She's coughing up her lungs, but it's because she keeps licking bed sheets. You're gonna have hair in your lung if you lick hair. That's just how that works, Coda. Dogs are stupid idiots, but we love them. We love them because they're stupid idiots. Alright, let's... maybe even just bring that out a little bit. Nope. We want an elastic grab then. Then bring that back. Okay. Not looking too bad. I want to make the nose a little bit more angular. There we go. That helped out a decent little bit. Okay. And then let's also make the brows a bit sharper here. Not quite like that. That would be freaky eyelids. Yeah, let's not make it that sharp. Let's make it more like... here, wait. Crease sharp. Okay, that's maybe a little more akin to what I'm looking for. And then we need to make these cheekbones a little less sharp, so maybe deflate. There we go. And then remesh a little bigger. Most advanced thing I've made in Blender in 3D was a freaking wall. Yeah, I would have been proud of. Yeah, it's I mean, you gotta start somewhere. Honestly, it's best to just learn stuff one thing at a time. So like whether it be just messing around with materials for a while, because that's what I did to start out. Was I was not great with 3D modeling, so I was like, you know what, I can mess around with material nodes and see if I can make a ball look like it's made of brick or slime or whatever. And then from there, I kind of figured it out. Let's give him just a little bit of cheekbone down this way. And then we gotta sharpen up this jaw, because it's a little round right now, and I think that's kind of... it's kind of killing it. Flatten contrast, yeah. So something like that. And maybe... scrape. Nope. That's still a little too round. Maybe we grab. Egg rolls taste good, for real. Exactly, don't rush art and don't try to make something spectacular right away. Just make deform ball and say it's a pumpkin and then go from there. Yeah, it's definitely, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. Not until you're a really good 3D artist. Then maybe you can build Rome in a day, but you gotta be like really good for that, you know? So that takes some time. Okay, let's figure out eye holes now. I have brushes for that, but I don't think they're the best, if I'm being honest. I mean, I can give it a try. Let's see. Eyes! That's the wrong way around. Look at that. Oh, God. Isn't that just the most beautiful man you've ever seen in your life? This is like if an alien was trying to pretend to be a man, you know, that's not... that ain't right. I have it upside down again, oh god. Yeah, no, this is... I mean, they're high detailed brushes, but it's just I don't vibe with that. I'm gonna just do it myself, alright? DIY is always better. Elden Ring boss, so true. Here, we can give him horns. There we go. Now he's an Elden Ring boss. Honestly, I could keep the horns. I mess with the horns. Horns are cool. What other kinds of horns do we have? Oh yeah, these ones are nice. I like that. Big fan of those horns. So let's do... where do we want to place them? Do we want to place them... now we probably want to place them a little farther back. Just a little farther back. There we go. When in Rome, give a man horns. That's what I always say. Alright, then I'll only slightly smooth it because I don't want to lose too much detail there. Alright, cool. Now he has horns. Almost done with Mark Mime, y'all. Hell yeah. Peak background music. Glad you like it. I picked it all myself. Although I don't know if some of it is DMCA-able or not, so you know. I mean, I guess I would have been taken down by now if any of it was, so we're good. Okay, so then for eye sockets. I don't know what that is, but honestly it might be a good little base. Yeah, that could work. Okay. We're gonna make a rough and rugged, kinda handsome demon man. There we go. I like that. It's a good start. Nice baggy eye detail. Okay, now we gotta sink this in. We gotta let that sink in. Starting to think this is not a human anymore. Maybe it's the devil, but that's just a theory. An analog horror theory, yeah. I mean, you know, it's humanoid. That's the important part. Let's, you know, what's to say we don't get a little creative, a little bit off, off the plan. See, this is what AI can't get you, right? You can't improvise with it. This is where the human soul part of it comes from. Okay, let's sink that in just a little bit more. Alright, is that a good eye cavity? I think that's a good eye cavity. Let's give it lids. Where do we want to get our lids from? Let's just use clay strip. Clay strip's been doing good for us so far. We definitely need more resolution though. Just a little bit, but we still definitely need it. Here, let me... Oh, I undid it. Hold on. There we go. And now we get to the most peak of peak background music, that being Spyro. Honest to God, I've been containing my rage a little bit, but I am kind of pissed we haven't gotten a new Spyro game yet. It's been a bit long, kind of starving for Spyro content. And I've been a patient boy, I'd like to think, but you know, enough's enough. We need a new Spyro game. Curious, what big voice actors would you cast as these characters you've created? Well, I've said before that I don't like the idea too much of giving them voices, just because I like monsters that either don't have a voice, or the voice that they use is like mimicry of some sort. But if I were to cast them as big voice actors, who would I have cast? Lila Lynx would need to be like a stoner, if we're being honest. Who would be a good female stoner? All the major celebrity stoners that I know are like dudes, like Snoop Dogg or fucking... Why am I blanking on him? He played Donkey Kong. Seth Rogen. Yeah, Jesus. But I don't think Lila Lynx should be voiced by Seth Rogen, you know? Call me crazy. You know, maybe I'm alone in this, but I don't think that should be the plan for Lila Lynx's voice. But I don't know who would voice her. But they would have to be a stoner. And then Gage is like a sailor. So you could probably... Who's like a good maritime voice? I'm also realizing the issue that I have with this question is I don't know enough celebrities by name. I kind of know their faces more than I know their names. So you know what? Fuck it. We make every single one of them Matthew McConaughey. It's an entire lodge of Matthew McConaughey's teleporting you into pocket dimensions and scaring the shit out of you. I'd pay to see it. Mackenzie walks up behind you and just goes, I want to take a pic with Cardi B inside my cardigan. Tell me that wouldn't go hard. Okay, let's clean up the mouth just a little bit. Excuse me, sir. You have a little bit of polygons on your lips. I'll get that for you. All right, let's undo that. I wanna Control R. Would that do it? No, they're still there. Okay. Maybe zoom out a bit. Yeah, I guess that's slightly better. I mean, when we retopologize it, if and when, it'll look a little better. Plus, like I said, we're definitely getting a big old pair of mutton chops on this, so I'm not too worried about how the lips look. Let's change the face profile just a little bit, though. I want it to kind of come in, be a bit narrower. That's good. Maybe angle the jaw just a little more. There we go. Lovely. Michael, I think it would be honestly scary if you were you were your buddy who went missing last week coming from the dark. I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that. Just finish him and post him? Hell yeah, we can check him out after stream. Okay, let's get eye orbs in here, because it's gonna look weird until we get eye orbs. Normally, I smooth out a sphere and make the sphere into a circle, but I don't feel like doing that right now because I'm lazy. But we'll do regular orbs, and that'll be fine, and that'll work. Mirror. Rotate X, 90. I think this one, we do a lot of like complete models here. This is mostly just for practice, so we're probably just gonna sculpt this one only and not worry too much about topology. Let's shade that smooth. Bring it back just a little bit. There we go. Let's change how that looks in the viewport. I don't need a material library. Who needs that? Let's make them black and shiny. There we go. They look into your soul. Can't spell for shit, I meant load. Yeah, I mean, that's fine, I get you. Was your Diver OC inspired by Captain Cutler from Scooby-Doo? Right on the money. 100% he was. It was kind of one of those things where, like, I had this idea of, like, I just had this mental association for a long time of, like, diver suits with, like, a ghost monster. And because I hadn't watched Scooby-Doo in a while at the time, I was like, where the hell did I get that from? And yeah, it's from Scooby-Doo. It's Captain Cutler. So it's definitely like subliminally inspired. And now that I remember it, it's not subliminally, it's whatever. Consciously. That's the word I was looking for. Consciously inspired. Okay, crease sharp. That's not what we want. Although we could make some like sick demon runes on his face, but I don't think we want to do that at this point. Yeah, no. How about this? That's good. And then we just inflate it. That's deflating. We want inflating. There we go. Let's make this a little sharper though. Good. We make more fine details on a fine detail pass. Alright, let's get some mutton chops going on in here. Or at least a block out of them. We can do actual hair afterward. Oh no, it's a demon? For sure, that's what I'm saying. It's humanoid, but it's basically a demon. Alright, mirror. Y-axis. No, I had it right the first time. There we go. GX. Look at that. And done. That's a beautiful mustache. We can just cut it there. Let's block it out proper. GX, GY. That's my second favorite Scooby-Doo villain. My first favorite is the Tar Monster, for sure. Although, honestly, hold on, now that you say that, let me pull it up. Because I gotta say, my favorite zombie design of all time, and I'm hoping y'all back me up on this, it's the Tarman zombie from The Return of the Living Dead. Avast, I'm being tracked. That's crazy. Yeah, this fellow right here. I'll put him up on screen. A little bit of a light spooky warning, so if you get scared easily, you might want to look away before you get frightened. Look at that. That's just an awesome zombie design. You can't tell me otherwise. Let's look at some of these. Isn't there like a gif of him moving? Is this the one? I want to see him move. Come on. This is a movie. Tarman Zombie gif. Yeah, see, that's just awesome. That rocks. I like that. I mess with that heavily. It's just awesome. Yeah, big fan of this. So I don't think many zombies after that have really, like, compared with just how awesome Tarman is. There have been some cool designs, but, you know, they haven't really surpassed it. All right, let's do something a little more detailed than a pure cube mustache. As sick as the pure cube is, I do think I want a slightly more sophisticated mustache. So then about here, it will extend down. GY. Alright, then if we extrude this down, extrude this out, like put it right there, about. Alright. And then we just gotta adjust. So this would go... Oh yeah, that's right, hold on. I have that set up weirdly. We gotta do a little bit of adjustment here so that it actually conforms to the face properly. Why is... Oh yeah, that'll do it. Mindfuck of the day, why is a magnet shaped like a U, but the word magnet doesn't have a U? Honestly, you're onto something. I think you've blown this case wide open. Big Magnet doesn't want you to know this. Rotate on the Z. We'll just... Oh, did I... Okay, never mind. I did good. We'll bring this out just a little bit. And then the top can go outward. these can go up. I didn't mean to swap to a Japanese keyboard. There we go. I know what you're thinking. For now, that just looks like cubes. That's not mutton chops. Wrong. Now it's slightly less cubic. Still not good, but it's slightly less cubic. Actually make emergency broadcast analog horrors based on Scooby-Doo monsters? Hell yeah. Sounds like a vibe. At least he doesn't have the funny painter's mustache. That's true. Or you could have like the one of those like handlebar swirly mustaches, you know? Okay, let's get this a little more bulky. I think everything just needs to scale up just slightly. Let me bring this here and up, and then extrude this bit and bring that up and out. And then this also needs to go outward just a little bit. Okay. The spinning image of Captain Price and his glorious facial hair. Exactly. It's beautiful. Although, hold on, we need to bring this down over the front lip just a little bit more. Because until that happens, it's not really a proper beard, you know? Once it takes over the first bit of the face, that's when you know it's pretty much done its job as facial hair. Okay, let's bring this outward, this bit inward so that it stays stuck to the face. Then we bring it all down. There we go. That's what you like to see. Lieutenant Harry Dubois on the scene. Alright. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Actually, I can leave that there. Just make it a little bit... No, not sharper. And we sculpt it from there. Alright, apply. Remesh it down. Oh boy, yeah, them's polygons. Let's fix that. Bring that on down. This is your daily reminder, by the way, speaking of Harry Dubois. If you have not played Disco Elysium, play it. It's objectively a good game. If you don't think it is, that's fine, you're just wrong. Find a way to play it. This has been your daily PSA. Let's smooth out the inner bits, even though we don't really need to. Although I will say, technically, Outer Wilds is the best game ever made, but they can both be the best game ever made. You know? Why make two of the best games ever made compete with each other? You can just play both of them. That's the beauty of life. You got time to experience both things. Alright, let's flatten this just a little bit. Cool. Alright, now we can strand it just to make it look a little bit more properly like hair. This is where the magic happens. And what do you know? That's hair. That's a whole ass beard. Megalo, what if the Night Watch called the police? What would happen? You mean in Mackenzie's Learning Lodge? Well, I mean, he's snowed in for the winter, so they wouldn't be able to get to him. That's the thing. That's why I did it. Because I wanted to have the question of, like, okay, what if he tried to leave the lodge? Or, like, what if he tried to call for help? I tried to have that as answered in the series as possible. So I was essentially like, okay, well, first of all, let's make it an isolated lodge so that it would essentially be suicide to go out into the forest in the first place. Because it's so isolated, you could theoretically say that there's no landlines out. But because it's a lodge, I'd assume that they'd figure that out at some point. So, it's snowed in. Maybe a power line's down. And then absolute last ditch, worst case scenario, if none of the other explanations work, then also, you know, ghosts and stuff. They're probably not going to let them leave if they have a say in it. Or talk to anybody outside the lodge, you know, that sort of thing. Monday? Nah, Monday. Sunday? Nah, Sunday. I agree with that. Alright, let's do clay strips, but we'll detract now. So honestly, I think we can just do this over and over again until it's like the perfect beard. And so then now we make it positive, so that it adds back. We just keep repeating this until we have enough little lines. And I think that's good enough. And I'm only going to smooth it out just a little bit. Like 0.9. There we go. What if snow barricades the door so the cameraman can't get out till the snow melts? That's also true. What if it's all in his mind? What if the lodge never even existed, bro? Then what? Just saying. Gotta think about it. No, I'd never do that. I feel like if I was gonna have a fake out on that level, it would have to be like actually well thought out, and it not just like it was all a dream. Okay, we don't want a mirror. I want to draw a sharp line, like a notch, where some of the beard hairs split. Okay, well that's not quite what I wanted to do, but we'll try again. Okay, it's slightly better. It's like, it's not sharp enough, weirdly enough. Let's remesh. Alright, cool. Maybe if I make it smaller. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Let me just smooth those bits out. I'll do... oh. I'll shrink this down just a little bit. Just to add even more texture than we already had. And since we're not mirroring it, it's going to be uneven texture, which is good, because that makes it look more natural. Because as they say, imperfection is the digital perfection. Then I'm going to probably inflate this just a little bit. That one I will make symmetrical. Alright, cool. Remesh. And how does that look? And we'll smooth it out just a little bit. Let's actually bring back the smooth brush. There we go. Now that's a proper set of mutton chops right there. The 10-minute episode, I feel like he was high or something. Weren't a couple of them 10 minutes? Unless I'm misremembering. He has a question. So you know how we saw the Phantom in the latest episode? The cameraman isn't the only one who can see it. Interesting theory. Wrong question. The big wolf in Mackenzie's Learning Lodge is blind? Indeed he is. Alright, we got mutton chops. Which, by the way, can I just say, it's insane how much facial hair can change how a person looks. Like, this is essentially cheating. You know? So, pro tip, if you can't make a character that looks good without facial hair, put facial hair on them. Because watch this. Boom. Weird. Freaky. Kind of a fish monster. Suddenly, he's kind of handsome. Low-key. If I'm being honest, would. Alright, let's get... His eyes are a little more... There's something about him that is not playing right to me. I don't know what. Let's do a little more sculpting. Just a little bit. I think he needs a sharper cheekbone. That might be what it is. Yeah, there we go. That did it. That was the, that was what was holding it back. Since Wolfgang is blind, I wondered how he could tell Richard got crushed. I saw he felt Richard, then felt the arcade cabinet. Yep. He had to put 2 and 2 together. Also, new episode's very good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Alright, let's make this a little sharper of a distinction. And then probably make this wider. And then let's also make this a little bit sharper. Not that sharp though. Hold on, let's dial that down a couple hundred notches. There we go. And then we can make that a little more of a bulb. And then adjust the side profile accordingly. There we go. Kind of want to tilt it down, actually. I like... Oh, that's a little more than I bargained for. Does that work? That kind of works. I like that. Wonderful. And we can pinch it in a little bit as it goes up to the top. Cool. I'm a fan of how that looks. Alright, now let's give him hair. We need to change... Let's give him a couple of, like, basic shaders, too, because why not? Material, new, viewport display. We want it to be like a dark red. Maybe a little bit desaturated. Yeah, we'll work with that for now. And then for beard hair, let's make it black. But then not at all shiny. There we go. Alright. Cool. Alright, he definitely needs eyebrows. Big old bushy eyebrows. Edit mirror. And subdivide. Alright, cool. Actually, maybe what we want to do instead, if we want to get clever with it, is snap these to faces. Turn that on. Alright, and then we shrink wrap onto this above surface, like about that much, just so I can see the shape of it. And we'll make it multi-Clark. Alright, and then solidify, even thickness, offset 0, we'll make it like 0.2 meters, and then subdivide again. Now we'll make it bigger. There we go. And make that the same hair material. That's the wrong one. There we go. Perfect. And now we just gotta shape it right. I think Gage is good. I saw Opal was about to kill the cameraman, but then Gage full-on ran or swam into her, and I've never really seen him be hostile, so yeah. Interesting too. Yeah, Gage is a goat. I mean, he's a shark, but he's the goat. Right here. I need to tweak that curve, definitely a little bit. Man, how it looks from the front is way different. There we go. That's a good middle ground. We'll just apply that. Why not? Give it a little cheeky save. And I'm liking how he's turning out so far. Now we just gotta give him some nice hair. Cure his baldness. There we go. Okay. Subdivision by like a lot. Yeah, okay. Just kind of move it around. Okay. Oh yeah, I need to adjust how they actually look in the viewport. Roughness. I'll make it 0, and then this can be red-ish. And then bring the roughness down just a little bit. Alright, cool. Definitely need a new orb, though. I don't want ray tracing right now. Turn that off. There we go. Cuboid. Shrink it down. Oh, yeah. I'm a little stupid. There we go. That's what caused the problem. Once we give him hair, I think he's pretty much golden at that point. Why is my preview window all the way back at that point in stream? Alright, there we go. For some reason, it was still stuck on when I was showing Tarman, which admittedly is a highlight. I do like Tarman a lot, but, you know, I needed to see current updates. What you making? We're doing a little bit of head practice on a Demon Man. So we're kind of just freestyling today. Okay, cool. So I am going all the way through there. Subdivision. Turn that up a couple times. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, what I need to see... I definitely need a reference image for hair, because that's one of those things that you think you know how it works, and then you go to model it, and suddenly you don't. Oh, my dog's barking in her sleep. Let's do men's hair cut. And I'll try and like... No, this is all like... This is all like broccoli cut zoomer hair. I don't want this. Hold on. You know what? We already got the mutton chops. Let's just commit full to fucking... Harry Dubois. Alright, how does this look? Admittedly, Disco Elysium is a little abstract in its art style, so this will be slightly tougher to model, but you know what? I'm prepared for the challenge. I'm here for it. Okay. I'm gonna switch to BRB in case when I save it I open up spoilers for Mackenzie's. I did not. So we're safe. Alright, cool. Then open up that stream. Alright, cool. Now, I can drag and drop Harry in here. Alright, Harry, what's your fucking hair look like? We'll move you there. Oh yeah, it got rid of the head. I mean, that's honestly fine. We don't need the head anymore. Don't need you either. Alright. So how do we go about this? It kind of starts up high. And then slicks back and poofs out around the sides. Which I think will play well around the horns. So we'll start up high here. Go down here. You know what? I'll just sculpt it from here. Honestly, we don't need to get too crazy with it. It's good to be back, Goofy. Hell yeah. Welcome back, Smile Guy. Bet that dog's having a good dream. Yeah, she's having a fun time. She's chasing squirrels or something. Let's make it 5. Why not? Fuck it. We ball. Or should I say, we bowl? Yeah, it's gonna bring it. It's not symmetrical. Okay, now it's symmetrical. These out. God, hair's tough. Alright. I'm kind of just like, it's kind of hard to do much with a blob because it's basically essentially just an afro right now. You know what? I need to start over on the hair. We're going to do it again, and we're going to get more complex from the start. Lesson learned. Alright, this one. Let me put it here. Is it symmetrical? It is. That's good. There we go. Bring that forward a little bit, bring that back, add one here. Scale that down, scale that down, scale that down. And I think we just make it from a bunch of like semi-loose pieces. This can be like the first piece. Add another cube. Bring that to the side. GY. So what I'm trying to avoid is going in and doing individual strands, because that might get a little bit crazy in the detail at that point. Bring back this. Okay, bring it along the Y. That puffs out way too early. Is that good on the side? I think it's good. Didn't mean to pick that one. Mirror on the x-axis. Cool. And then bring this back. Alright, cool, 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 cool. Hey, bro, sorry I'm late. No worries. We're having a chill stream today anyway. And I'll bring that more back. And then we need some side parts. No mirror. Now mirror. There we go. It's a simple start, but it'll do the job. This top bit definitely needs to come in. Okay. We definitely need to like depuff it. Yeah, and then the back needs to come in. We're getting there, slowly but surely. And then the rest we can probably morph. What was your reaction to the blackout situation? Honestly, this is the first time hearing of it. I don't know what it is. So that would be my reaction. Okay, now we can smooth this out a little more. He's got that Benjamin Franklin cut right now. Move that down. God, why am I so sleepy today? I don't understand it. That back. This forward. Damn it. Why is hair so hard? I feel like I might just have... If I want to do hair, I might just have to bite the bullet and, like... get into the weeds and make strands and stuff. Which is a little annoying. But it is what it is. Alright, let's try and put a material on it. Alright, now what if, hear me out, he's balding? Male pattern baldness. Now that's beautiful right there. Wonderful. I bring that below the horns. Wonderful. A little bit of baldness. Now, what is making it look kind of rough right now is that he doesn't have ears. And if he did have ears, they'd be covered right now, which isn't making much sense. So we do need to carve out a spot for the ears. Let's do right below that. And bring that in. Wonderful. And don't I have a brush for ears? I probably do. Let's see. It'd be crazy if all of those brushes that I have, none of them have ears. That would be a bit of a wild one. Alright, we do have ears. Ooh, what is this one? Let's take a peep at them elf ears. That's kind of interesting. I don't think it's what we want to go with, but it's just kind of interesting. Another interesting one. Yet another interesting one. There's a lot of interesting ears in here. Well, honestly, I think the pointy ones were the best out of all of them, if I'm just being honest. And they kind of fit the aesthetic, so, you know. That's what I'm going with. He's got pointy spike ears now. Wonderful. Gotta love them brush packs. Alright, now we just gotta make it strandy. Well, actually, let's fix a little bit of this first. Bring that up and outward. Bring that just generally outward. Bring that in. There we go. Alright, now we can do the same thing to this. And we should pretty much have a complete... That's not what we wanted to do. Okay. Let's change the material really quickly. Just so that's easier to see the bumps and stuff. Make it smaller. I see. We need a lot more mesh detail. And then we smooth. And then we brush. Go. And then minus detail. It's coming along pretty nice. Not gonna lie. Coming along pretty nice. We need plus there. And then we'll do sharp. That's good. Just gotta shrink this way down. Nope, that's not what we want to see. We want to commit all the way, top to bottom. Hold on, that I just kept doing the same one over and over. There we go. Wonderful. And then same thing, we just remesh. It's taking its time, there we go, and then inflate just a little bit. And then remesh again. And then sort of smooth it out. Cool. And then make the hair black. And not shiny. Nice. Alright. Honestly, I like it. It ain't bad. Although I guess just for like, you know, visual appeal purposes, let's try and make these faces all, what should you call them? Like black horns. I don't want to see through. Never mind, I do. Let's get rid of all that. It's gonna be a little spotty looking, but I don't really mind all that much for what's essentially a proof of concept. Nope. That's not what I wanted to do. Turn that back, add another one. Sign. Black. Alright, and then symmetrize. There we go. It's not perfect, but it's, you know, proof of concept. It gets the idea across. I'm proud of that. I like how that turned out. I think definitely in the future I could probably stand to take the extra time to just do hair strands though. I think that would ultimately turn out better. But I like how he turned out. He's a silly little guy. Little demon head. Alright then. What is this? Automated ads help optimize experience. I don't care about automated ads. They interrupt too much. So I turned them off. I gutted them. I threw them out. Alright. Honestly, I think that's about all that I would want to learn so far. I mean, I could learn more later, but I think I'm pretty proud of this model and how it turned out. So I'll save that for now. We can close that. And we can check out, since it's the end of stream, we can check out the new art from Cryophobia. If my chat will load, there we go. Go to channel. Posts. Alright, cool. Cryophobia, let's put them there. We got new art, gamers. Should check it out at Cryophobia. And then those numbers. Pretty neat, pretty cool. Big fan, we like it. Lovely. Alright, and then did Goofy say that they had something? Go to channel. Let's see, posts. There we go. Alright. Nice little draw on a Chica. And then this one, which I was talking about, Mark the Mime. Hell yeah. Colin the Clown. Hell yeah. Big fan of that. Go over to @GoofyGoober. Good stuff all around. Peak art it is, indeed. Alright. Well, that's all I got for now. Appreciate y'all coming out. Hope y'all have a good rest of your Valentine's Day. I'm mostly just going to be hanging out. Probably do a little more art practice, honestly, just off stream. And play some games. But hope y'all's day goes good. And I'll see y'all in the next stream. Thanks for coming out. Peace.